Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to talk about the economy as a whole so that you understand what is happening in the world today and how there's pressure from the elite to make it as if the economy is not a whole. The media makes it as if the economy is one-sided, as if costs are the major thing in the entire economy. So the media will always be telling you there must be wage cuts, always pressuring the labor. But we understand why that is. It's because the people who advertise in the media are large corporations and they're always fighting labor when there's no need for that. Because it's a misunderstanding of the economy. It's a whole concept. Because it's not just wages that matter, it's also the product. The labor does not create the product. The labor makes the product. The product is created by management, by the engineers. If the product is bad, then the company will fall down. That must be understood. Now, when it is always cutting about wages, we also forget the entire economy. That when you pay people satisfactorily, that they have enough money to go and spend in the whole economy. Because the economy, the money circles the economy. Now when you just say the money belongs to the top 2% or the top 1% and then there's a trickle-down effect, that is a liar. So when you win a Nobel Prize for talking about a trickle-down effect, that means the whole Nobel system is a con. It's to con the people. Because money cannot trickle from 1%. The money comes from the people who are buying goods and services. There's so much goods and services 1% of a population can buy. There's so many cars you need. There's so many houses you need. But if you look after the entire population, then you will see that when people are paid well and satisfactory, that the economy rises and people have money to spend. Now you have these economic geographers. They win awards from the Nobel Committee saying you must move products from one country to another according to where labor is cheap. Can you imagine you move production from America, all production from America to Mexico, or from Canada to somewhere else? Can you imagine what will happen? How are those people going to buy goods and services? That is what caused the crash of '98. Not the banks. It was because people had no money to pay for those houses. How does a bank cause a crash? By gambling? No. It's from the economic, it's the theory the economic geographers say that you must move production from developed countries to undeveloped countries. And that is not trade. Trade is when you trade a surplus. You don't move something to another place and call it trade. Once people could not pay, the American worker couldn't pay for it. How? How are you going to pay when you have no job? How are you going to pay when you had a job that was paying you $25 an hour and the corporations have cut it down to $10 an hour? How are you going to pay for wages? How are you going to pay for the house that you bought when you're earning $25 an hour? So it's not the banks. Yes, bankers are bad people, they're greedy, they should not have got their $1 trillion bailout, but they are not the cause. They are a symptom of the economy, of what happened. But they did not cause this. Now, look at America's golden age. It started in the late 18th century with people like Henry Ford. In the days of Henry Ford, people were getting $2.50 a day for work. Henry Ford said, my workers must get $5 a day. He was castigated by the other elites. He was castigated, why are you paying your workers so much? The Wall Street Journal called him a communist. No, but not understanding that Henry Ford loved America. And he was one of the few people, I can say, as a black man, that's a great man, because blacks were running from the south of America, running to go and work in his factories. And Henry Ford hired blacks at a time when it was not popular to hire black people. And he was paying them the same as whites, $5 a day, instead of, while the other American corporations were paying $2.50 a day. How can that be a communist? A man has created $1 billion venture in 1905 and he's called a communist for paying people a proper wage so that the money circulates in the economy. No. The evil people are the charlatans that came over and just looked at cost cutting, cut wages, keep people poor. Those are evil people. Real American wages, real wages in the West have not risen since the late 1970s. Real wages have not risen. They've been static. While the income of the elite, the 1%, has gone up 500,000%. You call that fair? But how? There's so much houses Bill Gates needs. He only needs 4 cars, but you have 20 workers, you pay them well, they're going to buy 20 cars. Understand that. The economy is a whole. And when we look at Africa, we see the same theories. When we look at Africa, Latin America, Asia, the resource countries, we see the same economic theories coming through. They tell you, no, pay the wages low. Yes, I can understand it to pay wages low for manufacturing. But when you're extracting a mineral from the ground, like gold, like uranium, like zinc, like aluminum, how can you pay somebody in America, in Western Europe, in Canada, $200 for 1 day's work, and then pay somebody to produce a lump of aluminum or a lump of gold, which is going to sell for $1,600 an ounce? Yet the same gold that is produced in Africa, you're going to pay that man $100 in a month, $200 in a month. But then you said Africans are wasting resources. How are they wasting them? It's the theory that says pay people as low wage as possible. Now in Africa, you're paying somebody $200 a month. There's no circulation of money. There's no money circulating. While in Canada, he's getting $200 a day for money exactly the same gold. It's not as if the gold in Africa is going to be sold for $500 an ounce. It's going to be sold for exactly $1,600 an ounce, as much as the gold in Canada. But when it comes to manufacturing, yes, costs do come in. Because a TV built for a wage of $10 a day compared to a TV built on a wage of $200 a day. No, one would rather buy that because you can cut the cost of the TV. But resources? No. They're set on a global market. They're the same price no matter where. But I'm not saying that there are problems in Africa, Latin America, Asia. There's corruption. There should be more free economics and better wages for the resource sectors. Their mainstay would absolutely lift those countries. So, friends, we are going into a global era now. Remember, money circulates. And for money to circulate properly, you pay people properly. You're not always cutting the wages of labor. You pay people properly, the money circulates, and at the end of the day, those people who are saying wages should be cut will also make a huge profit in the long run. Don't look at the next quarter. Look at the long run for humanity. Pay people more, build a middle class, and everybody will be happy. Thank you very much, friends, for listening. Pay people properly. Amen. Goodbye.